that's the art, okay? And then when I have that one selected, I can make the bird be bigger or smaller. I need to actually have the black arrow tool. So I see it in there. Let me make it much bigger, actually. I see a big bird face. I keep defaulting to the whole thing. I hate working with the touchpad. I feel like I have to go 3 times to do the same thing that I would have done so quickly. In my with my mouse. So I'm having to do things that I would normally have just done so quickly with my mouse, but there you go. Now I see the bird a little bit better, completely under that. Anyway, click away. So this is clipping masks. And in this case, it's kind of like I was trying to put a word under that, but this would be a way to bring in a texture. Let me give one more artboard in here and see if I have a good example. If I make a shape, right? And I don't want to fill it with any of these choices. If I want to fill it with, this is such a boring shape that I could have just brought in a photo, but let me make this shape into something else. Let me add some anchors here just to make it into something else, whatever that something else might be. So it's not like I can just bring in a photograph. If I want to bake, and this is a nothing shape, right? Because whatever, it's what I'm just throwing out right now. Then I can just bring in, and I'm just gonna place again, file, place an apple, I guess. What other art do I have here? I don't have many other pieces of art. So I'm gonna go ahead and bring in the rocket. Sure, I'll bring in the rocket and I'll drag over here. I'll drag over here. Touchpad. I hate the touchpad. So I brought in the rocket. I'm going to put the rocket under the shape that I just did. And again, this is because I'm trying to fill that shape with a piece of art. So I can't do that. So now I select both and I make a clicking mask. And there we go. Now that shape has the rocket inside of it. Okay. I'm trying to do this with the pieces of art that we have. Now I can still keep editing that shape on its own, right? I can keep working on it because the path is available, right? And it's basically like filling any shape that I have with any piece of art. So it doesn't need to be text with a beach or whatever, but it can also be that I just want to move this. So I click on the piece of art, I move the piece of art, I click on the path, and I move the path. Okay. And this shape means nothing the way but you know what I mean. Ideally, I would have made a shape that means something. And there you go. So that's clipping masks. You basically use your shape as a mask over an image that you want to put that image inside of that shape. Yes, Vera?
All right, I got my bird in with the file place. I'm not sure that was correct, but my beach is not see-through. Well, it was going to be bird, but it's beach. Anyway, I don't know how to make the bird shine through. I don't see the words clipping mask.
Go ahead and go ahead and you have to select both. Okay, if I was going to say share, but the fact that you see the word clipping mask is because you don't have 2 things selected. So select both.
Select then the words,
the word and the image, but the word has to be text, not outline. So just make sure that it's text. That was a mistake from that I said at the beginning. And if that still doesn't give you the answer, then share your screen.
Okay, I'm gonna have to share my screen. It does
Yeah.
not.
Okay, so you're in isolation mode. So get out of isolation mode, hit escape whenever everything is not kind of grayed out. Hit escape. Okay, now you have the beach words set up, but they are not text. They are outlined. Okay, so it's not going to work. So drag that beach out of the way, move it, grab it and move it out, and then just go to the type tool and just type the word beach or bird or whatever.
With the bird?
Just go up to the type tool and just rewrite it. Put something in, yeah, just write the word beach or bird or whatever you want to write. Okay. And now go to your selection tool. And now select both the bird and the text bird. Yeah, cool.
Oh, it's selected all.
No, because you select the bottom, so click away. You don't want that bottom one as part of it. You need the black, so just click on the word blurred that's in black. Yeah, now hold on the shift key and click on the photo behind it. Good. Now you have the make clipping mask. No, no, no. Why did you get the bottom one again? Ah, so weird. Oh, no, you didn't get the bottom one. I'm sorry. It's just that the bird photo is that long. Is that what's happening? It just happens to be as long as the word beach. That's why it happens to be as long as the word beach. So I thought you were grabbing the word beach underneath. That's why it was just okay, good. Clip and clip. And now go to the make clipping mask, which is there. Otherwise it would be under object. And there it is. Actually, you know what? No, it was that it was holding onto those words. Because see how they both went, they disappeared. The top and bottom, you must have had a group. And so when you clicked, it was grabbing the whole group. Go ahead and do undo. Yeah, so that what's happening is that the top bird in red, the bottom beach in blue, and the photo bird, they must be grouped. So go ahead and do an separate, like click away. And let's go into your layers to see what's happening because you hit all three of them. Go to your layers. And it'll be all the stuff that's on the top. So see, there's a group there where you have the bird that's in red and the bird that's in blue. They are clipped together. Let me show you here. See that? Hold on, I need the, see how there's a group here of those together with the bird? So that's what's happening when you're trying to select the bird, you ended up selecting everything that's there. Hold on. Trying to undo my writing there. So if you just want to select the bird on its own, go ahead and select the bird now, the photo bird. Yeah. And
Now
not the word bird, the photo. Go to the background. Yeah, click on that. Okay. And where is that? That's, if you look over to the right now, see how that when you do that, what you did is select an entire group. You see that?
Right. Yeah, I should be selecting.
So now, in order to either ungroup that or just go over here where you have that bird, which is this last, oh God, my thing is dragging. That one is the only thing that's the bird. See down there? So now click on just this little box right there. So you select only the bird photo. There. And now hold down the shift key and select the word, the black word bird. Hold down the shift key, select the black word bird.
Doesn't show me a separate box.
Yeah, so you're going to have to ungroup it. So just grab this bird out of this group. It shouldn't be in that group anyway. Just drag it out. Just drag it up here and separate it and put it under the word bird. So go here to your layers, way over there. Yeah, grab that and drag it up there under the word bird. Yeah, they shouldn't have been in it. Drag it again and drop it when you see the blue line, not before. Yeah, let go. Okay, now they're separate. Now finally, it's not part of a group. Now you can select both. And that's it. Now it's just an easy thing to select these two. Okay, now do the make clipping mask. You have to go back to your properties or you have to go up to object, make clipping mask. Go ahead and drag across to make sure you have these two selected. I'm not sure. Every time you go in, you're clicking on somewhere else, so you're losing your selection. Right now, you don't have these two selected, so you will not find the choice to make it. Put your mouse out here. drag from here to here so you can select that and that at the same time. Yeah, there. Now that you have both, see, make clip and mask appears.
Oh.
There we go.
I'm doing it wrong. That's why the words didn't pop up.
Well, it's just that you had your bird connected to the other things, which it worked, but then everything else disappeared. Now you needed only those two. And then when you went to select the two, you had one or the other, not both. And so make clipping mask only appears if you have two objects selected, and that's why you weren't getting it to appear. Okay, so just be clear on what you're selecting. That's all, and then it would work. Cool. Now go and bring in the beach and connect it to the word beach that you have underneath. Rachel?
Okay.
Yes, I was trying to follow along with that example, so I got farther, but I wanted to know how you moved the picture within the words so you can get a better view of the picture.
Yeah, so go into like your white arrow tool, for example, and then when you click on the picture, you can move the picture. And when you click on the path, you can move the path.
Okay.
Did that work? And
No, I'm moving the whole beach word.
Cool. But if you click with your white arrow tool, then you're grabbing in the middle, then you're grabbing the click again. You're right. When it's a piece of art
Mhm.
and a shape like the rocket, it's working. But when it's a word, the word moves. So then move the word around the art and that kind of works. Or if you wanted to really grab what's inside, that's when you need to go into your layers and click on the little box next to the art so that you can just get the art. Because otherwise the word takes over. Does that make sense?
Can I share my screen? Because I'm
Yeah,
not
go for
sure
it.
I'm
Yeah,
there.
go for it.
All right, let's see.
I want to show you guys one more thing, and I have only a couple more minutes. So I'm happy to stay and help people with this after we're done, but I just have one more kind of cool thing for you guys to play with. All right, so what's happening? It's a very transparent word, so it's hard to see, but okay. Go ahead and I want to see your layers.
Oh, maybe I clicked isolation mode. I'm not sure, but
No, you're not in isolation mode. You just have a very transparent word. Click on your select your word with your selection tool. You're in your white selection tool. So go to your regular selection tool and select it. I don't know what you're selecting, so click away on the white and let's start again because I don't know what you're selecting. Okay, go back to select on the word beach. Yeah, and over here on the right side, you gave it a 50% opacity. Yeah,
Oh.
right there. So give it 100, which is fine. It's not a bad example, but right now, I mean, you can do that and it's really pretty, but for this thing, you couldn't see it. And it looks like you have two lines of text. The top is just a space, so that's why it's weird that you have run back. Okay, so now hold down the shift key and now select just the photo from the bottom where there's no other box. Yeah, just select. Shift and select. Now you have both selected. Okay, now make the clipping mask. Okay. And now the reason it's so big is because your text has you made a return and you have like an empty line on top, but we can just ignore that. So now open your layers, which I don't see handy. So go to your window and say layers. Layers are so important to have handy. Oh, there it is. You have you have it there. Look, that teensy little box. Let me get my tools. Hold on. I see
this
them
one?
there. No, I need to get my tools. Where are my annotation tools? They disappeared. Ah, oh, yeah. So now open the clip group. Over there you have a little, no, in your layer, go to your layers, yeah. And the top little group, it says clipping group, open it up with that little arrow. My annotation tools are not appearing, so I have to hope. Okay, and now see how there's two things there. There's text and there's art. So now on the right side where you see the blue boxes, click on only the art, the photo. Yeah, now that's the photo. So now you can go in and with your mouse, touch in the art piece and then drag up and down or double click. See if you can just grab. Nope. Now that you've isolated it, go back to the layers and touch only the art. Ah, that little circle. Yeah, use your arrows to move it up and down. For some reason, unless you go into your white arrow tool or go into your white arrow tools. Yeah, I don't know why it's not letting us go up and down.
If
It
you want to
is.
show me afterwards, I can
No,
wait.
no, click and drag your mouse.
Oh, there it is.
Now you're
Oh.
moving your text instead, but you've separated them and you move it
Okay.
up to what you want. Okay.
Okay.
You just needed to have the layers up to separately choose one or the other.
Okay.
All right, guys, I am 2 minutes away from the entire class being done. I'm going to just show you one cool thing, and then after that, you're done. But I also wanted to show you, well, this isn't the cool thing. This is just me showing you something else, which this is the fall schedule. And I wanted to let you know that I'm teaching again 2 versions of Photoshop, Illustrator, and digital design techniques. If you guys want to know more or get better, you saw there's some people here who take this class again, and then you can get into more in-depth stuff. But I'm also teaching the create compelling content, which is a way to make stuff with to make art, to make content for projects, be it a book or be it a website, with tools that are not the Adobe ones. There's a lot of tools online that are free and stuff like that. So how to get source art and vector files that are already ready to go, and then you just modify them in Illustrator and stuff like that. So these might be classes that you're interested in. Make sure that it's time to start registering. So I'm going to send an email out to all my students soon with these CRNs. But yeah, I'll stay after class. If you have any questions about those and how to register, I can help you. But now give me a second. Those who need to go, then it's been a pleasure knowing you. And leave when you need to leave. But if you can hang in one more second, then I will show you one more of all things cool thing. And please make screenshots of everything we've been doing and put them in the Padlet. I'm going to do a quick, let's just do a new Command N, because we have so many things going on here. Command or Control N for new, and say okay. And let's start with 0. And this will be a simple setup for this, but the final effect is really cool. So I'm going to go to my rectangles, and I'm going to make, let's start with the elliptical tool and make a circle. Give it a color, any color. Let's go to the stroke and get rid of the stroke for now. No stroke. Well, actually, the stroke is not a bad idea, but give it a really, really thin hair stroke, like a 0.25, like just really tiny stroke. And I'm going to make it not black, but like a red, something that's different than pink, but not too different. It's okay. You'll see why. Never mind. Just make a circle. We're out of time to be too specific. Make a circle, take the stroke out of the way. All right. Now I'm going to go grab another shape. And this time, let's go with a rectangle to make things simple again. Let's make a little square, but give it a different color. I don't know, blue, teal. I don't know how these two will go together, but there you go. Okay, so you've got 2 different shapes. Now, when you're there, select both. Okay, I'm going to give you a second there. And what we're going to do is we're going to blend these shapes into each other. Shape and color, because I gave them different colors and I gave them different shapes. So they're going to blend. So how are we going to do that? Again, go to Object, and where it says the same place where down there we had clipping mask and other stuff, there's one that says blend. And we're going to say blend make. And when you look at what's happening, you're going to end up having a transition, and from one to the other. I don't like the color transition that I chose. So let me go ahead and I'm going to color this differently. Maybe with blue. That looks a little bit better. Now, the reason I see these lines is because I gave it a stroke. If I hadn't given it a stroke, you wouldn't see that. But let me show you why this is what's so cool about this. Once again, I can click over here. Once the blend is options, like way over there, I can click blend options. And I can choose if I want a specific amount of steps, and say instead of 114, say that I tell that I want it to have like 7 steps, and I say okay. Now you can see how this one is slowly transforming into this one. Let me actually double click isolation mode, and now I'm going to make this one a different shape, or this one an oval. See how from the first to the last, everything in between is taking shape, taking the shape. And so I'm in isolation. When you're in not isolation mode, it's all one thing. But if I double click, then the first and the last one can still be changed to get that transition to be bigger. Now, when you got your blend options and you go with smooth color, and when you do so many strokes, it doesn't look so smooth. But if you take the stroke away, no stroke, then it just looks like a gradient. But instead of being a color, it's a gradient of color and shape. If instead you do give it a stroke, then the stroke becomes so important that it kind of becomes like a ton of shape. So that's just depending on the color stroke you use, that could be a good feature or effect. I'm going to make it a thin stroke, and that actually kind of looks pretty cool too. So the stroke or not the stroke is what you're seeing when you see many of them. I'm going to go to blend options and go to specified steps, and this time give it maybe 45. So there's a lot of them, but less. And again, I can change the colors or the shape of the first one all I want. Again, I can add paths. I can do all that kind of stuff. And this doesn't work with patterns. Like I can't fill it with that because it doesn't blend. The pattern is either there or not there. Okay. So it doesn't do the blending. It has to be a color. Let me undo that. And you wouldn't do it with a gradient. Well, I guess you can do it with a gradient and it'll blend from flat to gradient. Okay, I guess that does make sense. This path also can be altered. If I go to my white selection tool, this is a path that I can alter. So I'm going to add put a little curvature, click into the path, and then I'm going to modify that. And I'm just having some fun with this shape now. Pretty cool.
Mhm.
Again, this is a combination of lots of things that I've already taught you, okay? When you have a path, which is down here, see the path is this thing inside of it. You modify it by using your white arrow tool, right? Or if you add or take away paths, then you can keep modifying it with the curvature tool. And then if you want to give it a stroke or no stroke, if this didn't have a stroke now, let me select it again. Hold on. If this had no stroke, it would be smoother, but by not having a stroke, when I have less steps, it looks a little bit weird. So then I need to give it more steps, and the blend options, I'll give it many more steps, 200 steps, and I hit return. Now it's a better blend. I think I need more steps now to blend color. If I put the stroke on, I'm going to make a very different colored stroke. Then it can become a feature, but ideally have it be either a very different stroke, right? And that kind of works. Now, I remember one example of this is if you're making, I was making a drawing for another one of these classes, and we were making a sun, and then you blend that into a background that is blue, and the sun is a round yellow circle. And then when you blend those two together, one on top of the other, it looked like there was a sun shining in the sky. I'll just do it really quickly and see if I can get it right the first time. And if not, I know it's time to go. Let's fill this with sky color blue. And then I'm gonna make like a circle here that's sun yellow. And then when you select these two, and then I blend them, make the blend, right? Then right now you can see it, but that's what it looks like in the end, right? Like you can see all this, so it's weird, but if you didn't see that and look that, that's basically the look that you're getting. You can make it be a little bit further or a little bit smaller probably to make it not be like the sun takes up so much space in the sky, but anyway, like that. And then the thing about that is that you say, well, why didn't you just do a gradient, right? Why wouldn't a gradient have worked? And this is a set of vector shapes. And these vector shapes I could easily export because truly this is a whole bunch of shapes. And a whole bunch of shapes is easier to make it work as a small file than consider that if this were only a few steps, let me say again, 15. See how it's just 15 shapes, but each one has only one color. And these 15 shapes that each one has only one color ends up being a better way as a vector shape to keep the files small if you're trying to get a gradient into something like a logo or something like that. So it's just sometimes it's a technicality, sometimes it's just a way to do things. But the next thing that's cool about this, and I'm going to go ahead and grab and make this one now be smaller and bigger again and bring it in here, is that right now I can also go ahead and say object blend release. Okay, so I've released the blend. Oh, no, not release the blend. I wanted the blend to be there. Make the blend options. I'm trying to separate them. Okay. I'm trying to grab only one. It's not release. What is it? Anyway, these turn into individual shapes that you can then use each one in their own. It's not really, oh, expand. There you expand. Cool. Expand. Oh, I left this, when I left this one is I ungroup it, and then each one of these is its own shape. And I left it with many billions of ones, and so it's kind of hard. Let me undo it and have only 10 steps. Let me go back to the blend options and have only 10 steps. 10 steps. Okay. And then when I go to object expand, good. Now I have 10 individual shapes that happen to be grouped, so I can ungroup them. And then these are all individual shapes. And sometimes you're trying to make a shape that is hard to make, but you can also create some kind of a blend between two weird shapes, just like before with the path, you can get different things. And each one of these can be colored whatever you want now, right? But you have each one is an individual piece. Each one of all those steps has a shape that might have been hard for you to get that shape so symmetrical and so perfect on your own. And you did it because you created a blend between two very different shapes. In this case, rectangle or circle are so different, but if you had a star turning into a triangle or something like that, and then that in-between step, you get to have fun with and separate them by expanding, and then that's your base shape that you work with something, and you give it whatever color you want at that point. You don't need to stick with colors. Once they're released, they're yours to do whatever you want with. Okay. So yeah, there you go. I just wanted to show you the blend because it's another way of creating either a cool effect like that or another way of creating shapes based on those two initial ones that you first created. And somewhere in the middle, you have something that's very different. If I were to now expand this one, then probably in here, I have some, other thing I can work with. that's in between shapes. That's fun. And again, this is still rectangle to circle, right? So neither one of these two give me some really fancy shape in there, but try that with a star. Try that with a shape that you make, a logo, and then you'll have some really funky shapes in the middle in between the transition of one to the other. All right. That was a lot in one quick little thing,
Wow.
but watch the recording, play around with it. It's basically two shapes, blend, and then play around with that.
Excellent. Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you for hanging out. An extra, what, 11 minutes? Those of you who stayed, sorry I stayed behind. And yeah, play around with text, with fonts, do some screenshots, put them up, and you can still ask me questions in the Padlet. When people ask me questions, I answer. The other day, someone asked me a question, I answered. I don't know if you guys get the answers, but looking down, if when you have a question, I write down an answer in that, like, oh, it's not working because of the whatever, and I just give you a whatever. Okay.
And Diana, if
answer.
you could please send us your next schedule of classes.
Yeah, I'll do that. I'll do that.
Thank you.
All right.
Bye.
You
in
guys,
October.
lots of fun. See you in yeah, September, October, sometime in the fall.
Thank
Bye.
you. Bye.
Have a great rest of your summer.
Is this the last class?
Yes, this is the last class.
Okay. See you soon.
Bye.
Bye.